Namaste. So before we start class today, before we come into our Shavasana, could you just ensure that you've got a yoga belt, or indeed a substitution for a yoga belt? That can be an old tie, an old scarf, or the belt from your dressing gown before you come down to lying down. And then when you've got that, let's settle in to relaxation into our first Shavasana. Just allow yourself this time to relax down onto the earth. Sensing how the lower back, the hips feel today. That can determine how you arrange your legs and your feet. Maybe bending up the knees, soles of the feet onto the floor, having the legs extended all the way out in front. If the legs are extended all the way out, just release through the toes, the ankles, up through the legs, up into the hips. Really encouraging the chest to open, the shoulder blades to relax. So arms and hands alongside the body. Maybe palms facing upwards. Or take a bend in the elbows to cradle the lower abdomen with the hands and close the eyes. Using this first Shavasana, this relaxation part of our class today, to bring you into the here and the now. Gently scan all the way from the tips of your toes up to the crown of your head. Observing the physical self right here, right now. Transporting awareness to your breath. Don't change the breath in any way, but just note here that you're breathing. Really feel that you're breathing. Sensing how your body expands into space. And feeling those sensations on the skin. And how the body expands into the surface supporting you. And those same sensations in the skin here. Feeling the body being breathed from the inside out. In the next breath or two, just bring your hands to rest on your belly. And as we begin to breathe a little bit more deeply, notice how your hands rise and fall as the belly rises and falls. If you have the fingertips gently touching, notice how they may spread apart as you inhale. Just taking a few moments, harnessing this breath. This complete yogic breath all the way down into your belly. Lungs, sides of the chest, your ribcage expanding, even the soft parting of the collarbone. Just sensing this whole movement, this complete yogic breath. Belly, to collarbone. And if you find that the mind wanders, just see if you can bring your attention back to your breath and the sensations of the breath. So very carefully, and in the next breath or two, let's just release the hands from the belly. Allowing the arms and hands to rest back alongside the body. If the knees aren't already bent, let's start to take a bend in the knees, a careful bend in the knees. Drawing the knees up high over the chest, we're going to interlace the fingers, hands around the knees, around the shins. And we're going to just start to gently rock from side to side here, just observing that curvature through the lumbar spine. And compression into the belly, in to the front of the hips. Maybe the eyes are still closed, or maybe you feel comfortable now to start to open the eyes. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the knees back to centre. We're going to start to bring some movement into the arms, the shoulders, the hips and the legs. With the knees to centre, we're going to inhale, so the thighs come in towards the chest a little bit more. As we exhale, we're going to start to straighten the legs. So you release the fingers and the hands, and you take the arms overhead to where it feels comfortable. That's your exhale. Let's repeat that. Inhale. Hug the knees back in. As you hug the knees back in, the lower back lifts about an inch off the floor. Exhale, take the arms overhead, stretch through the legs. Tips of the toes pointing up towards the sky. So repeating this slowly, carefully. Start to work down into those core abdominal muscles, into the pelvic floor. If you need to take a break, because this is quite challenging through the belly, through the front of the legs, then just take a break here. That's my knee that you can hear clicking. Let's make this our last one. Inhale, squeeze the thighs towards the chest. Exhale, extend out through the legs, take the arms and hands overhead. When you're ready, release the arms, take a bend in the knees, lower the soles of the feet all the way down and extend the legs out in front. You're going to reach for your belt or your variation of a belt, so maybe your dressing gown, belt, your old tie or your scarf. And you're going to open your variation of your belt just across your body for a moment. Let's take this opportunity to get really comfortable resting on the mat. So just release out through the feet, the ankles, the legs for a moment. Just flop the little toes out to the top two corners of the mat. And just check that you feel nice and symmetrical, resting on the earth. You don't feel wonky lying on the mat. Bring some awareness and attention to the position of your chin. Keep the neck nice and safe. Tuck the chin down towards the chest. We've got that super long length through the spine. Up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. We're going to come into reclined hand to big toe pose. When you're ready, let's bring some engagement into the legs, point the toes towards the sky. You're going to leave the left leg nice and heavy on the earth. When you're ready, start to take a bend in the right knee, draw that right knee in towards the side of the body. And then you're going to loop your belt or your variation of your belt around the sole of that right foot. Holding on to the belt, start to extend up through that right leg. We can make a couple of small amendments here just to check that it feels comfortable through the whole of the right leg into the right hip. So the first thing to do is just check how the hamstring feels. If the back of that right hamstring is quite tight, then take a micro bend through the knee. Otherwise, see if you can extend, push out firmly through the sole of that right foot, pushing into the belt, and then become comfortable with the belt equal in both hands. Slide the hands down about to where it feels comfortable. So you've still got good control of that right leg, but you want to draw the elbows in towards the side of the body. Keep the shoulder blades sinking down into the mat. We've not lost that lovely safety of the neck. We're going to take both ends of the belt, your variation of the belt, into the right hand, and you're going to extend your left arm all the way out to shoulder height, just releasing the back of that left arm into the floor. You're going to inhale here. As you exhale, just start to take that right leg all the way over towards the right, loosening your grip on the belt as you do that. So the success of this pose very much depends on the flexibility through your legs and your hips today. Maybe the legs are quite tight. That means you're not going to be able to get that leg all the way over to the side, down towards the direction of the floor, but we don't want to push that. So find a position that feels comfortable for you. It may be that you can release the belt a little bit more to enable that right leg to open a little bit more. Keep relaxing, make sure you're breathing. And the toes on that left foot haven't gone to sleep, they're pointing up towards the sky. A few more breaths here. Inhale here. As you exhale, use that belt to help bring that right leg back to center. And then we're going to swap the hands round. So this time you take the left hand to both ends of the belt. You extend the right arm all the way out to shoulder height, so the back of that right arm is resting on the floor. Inhale here. As you exhale, use that belt in your left hand now to guide that right leg all the way over towards the left. And just as we did on our first side, just observing where this stretch feels comfortable for you. You can really start to feel that working into the glutes, into the hamstrings, into the outer thigh. Releasing that leg where it feels comfortable. Keep breathing down into the belly. Inhale here. As you exhale, use the belt to help guide that right leg back to center. Once the leg's back to center, take both ends of the belt into your hands. And what you're going to do is take a bend through that right knee, release that right foot all the way down, release the leg. Just release your belt, your variation of the belt across the body again. Take a moment to straighten yourself up on the floor. Release through the legs, release through the toes, drawing the chin in to look after the neck. Take a moment here, catch your breath. So just observing that perhaps your right leg feels a little bit longer than the left. So really got a nice stretch into that right leg. Let's balance up this stretch on the left leg now. Bring engagement into both legs, toes towards the sky. This time we keep the right leg nice and heavy on the earth. You're going to bend up the left knee, draw that left knee in towards the body, and then loop the belt or variation of the belt around the sole of that left foot as you start to extend, stretch out through that left leg. And start to just adjust how the belt feels in your hands, how the hamstring feels on the left side. So just as we did on the right side, maybe taking a micro bend through that knee, or maybe able to straighten up through that left leg and push firmly through the sole of that left foot. Sliding the hands down the belt, drawing the elbows in towards the side of the body, tucking the chin in. We're going to take both ends of the belt into the left hand and extend the right arm all the way out to shoulder height, So the back of that right arm rests firmly on the floor. Inhale here. As you exhale, using the belt just to slow this down, start to extend out through the left hip, taking that left leg all the way over towards the left side. Releasing the belt slowly, carefully, finding where this stretch feels comfortable for you today. Breathe in, release in. Inhale here. As you exhale, use that belt to slowly, carefully guide that left leg back to center. And then we're going to swap the belt round. So we're going to take the belt into the right hand. Extend the left arm all the way up, shoulder height, so the back of that left arm rests on the floor beside you. Make sure the toes on the right foot are still engaged, pointing up towards the sky. Inhale here. As you exhale, using that belt to slowly, carefully guide that left leg all the way over towards the right. Sliding the hands down the belt, just to get a deeper stretch through the leg if you wish. Don't take it too far, listen to how the body feels. A couple more breaths here. Inhale here. As you exhale, slowly, carefully, using that belt to carefully guide that left leg back to center. Once the left leg is back to center, take both ends of the belt into your hands. When you're ready, take a bend in that left knee, unloop the belt, do your variation of the belt, remove the belt to one side and extend that left leg all the way down in front. So noticing that we've got that super stretch through both of our legs. Both of our legs feel the same length now, which is good. And then from here, let's draw the knees up high over the chest. Hug the knees in, gently rocking from side to side. Just helping to ease out the lower back, the hips. From that last pose, our reclined hand to big toe pose. Bring the knees back to center, raise your right arm up. Keep that right arm elevated as you roll all the way over onto your right side. Let's rest here for a moment with your head on that raised arm. Inhale here. As you exhale, start to bring some awareness and attention to your left fingers, your left hand. When you're ready, push down into that hand, using your left hand to steady yourself as you slowly, carefully come all the way up. So we're going to come into a couple of poses now that starts to just stretch out the front side of our body, which is really handy and really feels nice to do if you've been probably sitting down a little bit too much lately. I think we've all been doing that. So let's get a blanket, and we want to fold up the blanket that's going to create enough padding for the front of our hips, I mean in particular our pubic bone, as we come into cobra pose and into a variation of locust pose if you want to, into shavasana. So we've folded up the blanket. I'm going to come all the way down to lying down, padding out the front of the hips, the pubic bone. We want the legs nice and heavy behind us. We want the tops of the feet, tops of the toes pushing down into the earth. So take a moment here to get comfortable. You're going to bend up your elbows and take the hands underneath the shoulders. You're going to draw the elbows in towards the body, and you're going to place your forehead on the mat in front of you. Take a moment to ensure that we've got that lovely connection with the tops of the feet, the toes, and the legs nice and heavy into the earth. Drawing the shoulders back, drawing the elbows in towards the body, and our foreheads on the floor. Let's inhale here. As you exhale, push into the hands, keep the legs nice and heavy. Find your way up into cobra pose. So check how the back feels. If this is too much, release down, and then come back up when you're ready. So staying in cobra pose if this feels okay, the legs are nice and heavy behind you. Breathing, keeping the chest open. If this feels okay, we're going to come into locust pose, our Shavasana. We're going to start to lift the legs off the floor behind us. Point the toes away. Activating through the legs. Start to feel that stretch through the front of the hips into that psoas muscle. And if this feels okay, you might want to take the arms behind you. Breathing, rocking through the body as the lungs fill up and release. Let's release the legs down, bend up the arms. Just release your head to one side, bring the big toes towards one another, heels out towards the edges of your mat, just releasing through the lower back, the SI joints. Let's take a moment here before we do one more round. When you're ready, straightening out through the toes, the legs, the feet. Release the hands, take the hands underneath the shoulders. So take a moment here. Tops of the toes, the feet pushing it into the mat. Legs are nice and heavy. Pubic bone still feels comfortable. Hands underneath the shoulders, draw the elbows in towards the side of the body, releasing the forehead down onto the mat. Inhale here. As you exhale, push down to the legs, start to come up into cobra pose. Check the back again, releasing down if it feels uncomfortable. If you want to take it one stage further, activate through the legs, point the toes away into Shavasana, into locust pose. Still opening through the chest, releasing the shoulders, really rejuvenating the back body, you can feel that. And then from here, releasing the arms if you wish. Arms are nice and active behind you. Fingers going towards the toes. Have more nice breaths. Inhale here as you exhale. Release the legs, bend up the arms. Turn your head in the opposite direction. Big toes towards one another, heels out to the side. Take a moment here. Inhale here. As you exhale, straighten out through the toes and legs. Take the hands underneath the shoulders, push up and back into child's pose. Stretch out through that lumbar spine. Stretch out through the shoulders. Inhale here. As you exhale, slowly, carefully start to uncurl the spine, coming all the way up. So we're going to come into a variation of fire hydrant pose. This is a pose we're going to do from all fours, from our tabletop position. So keep the blanket where it is. That's going to help pad out the knees. And take a moment to find your way into your tabletop position. Spreading the fingers apart, wrists directly underneath the shoulders, pushing the earth away. You've got that super long length through the spine, out through the crown of the head. Draw the navel in towards the spine to start to switch the core abdominal muscles on. So I'm going to talk you through this pose on my left side first. So this is my side nearest to you, nearest to the camera, the computer. So keep your gaze towards the earth, and you can take the weight into the right knee, and you're going to lift the left knee up, push the sole of that foot towards the sky. You're going to inhale here, release that knee down, and as you exhale, take the knee out to the side. Repeat that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Watch the hands and the wrists. Watch how the knees are feeling. Take a moment to come out of this when you need to. Really working into the glute medius here. You will certainly start to feel that into the bottom, into the front of the hips, the legs. So you can do a few more. Keep drawing the navel in towards the spine. Keep pushing the earth away. Keep breathing into this. And let's be our last one. Inhaling here. Exhale. Bring that left knee back to center. Take a moment here. Sink the hips down towards the heels. Bring movement into the wrists, hands and fingers. Inhaling as you exhale, coming back onto all fours. So let's do that on our right side. So looking after fingers, hands and wrists, pushing the earth away. Keep your gaze down towards the mat, taking out any undue stress on the neck. Navel in towards the spine. Start to take the weight into the left knee as you push the right knee, sole of the right foot up towards the sky. Inhale here. As you exhale, taking that knee out to the side. And repeating. Might feel easier on one side than the other. Let this be our last one. So inhale here. Exhale. Bring that right knee down. Sink down into child's pose. Hips towards heels. Stretching out through the arms. Drawing circles into the wrists, hands and fingers. Inhale here. As you exhale, slowly, carefully uncurling the spine, coming all the way up. I'm going to remove the blanket from your mat. You're also going to remove socks unless you've got your special yoga sticky socks on. And you're going to get ready to come into downward facing dog. So back onto all fours, spreading the fingers, hands, being safe underneath the shoulders, knees are hip width apart. Push the earth away. Draw the navel in towards the spine. You're going to tuck the toes under, shift the weight back into the thighs, push up into your downward facing dog today. Adjusting through the hands and the feet as you need to. Let's walk the dog here, lightly treading each heel down towards the earth. Slowly, carefully, don't rush. And coming back into your static downward facing dog when you're ready. So keep those shoulders active. Draw the ribs towards the thighs. Check out the legs feel today. It may be possible to come into your downward facing dog today with the legs a little bit more straight. Maybe drawing the heels down towards the earth, but as you do that, don't lose that lovely V shape through the rest of the body and breathe. You want to be breathing into this pose, particularly into the upper back body, the area where the lungs live. So much lung capacity in the back body we don't often realise. Really breathing into this. When you're ready, bend the knees, look towards your hands, taking as many steps as you need today. Walking the feet towards the hands, hands towards the feet. Coming into your lovely forward fold. So you've got a couple of options with the hands and the arms, maybe taking a box shape with the hands to the inner elbows. Gently rocking from side to side as you do that. Maybe you want to take the hands behind the lower legs onto your calf muscles to draw the chest towards the thighs, the crown of the head towards the mat. Maybe the hands on the feet or the sides of the feet, whatever feels comfortable. Take a moment here, but ensure you're still looking after that lower back. Bending the knees as much as you need to. Releasing totally through the neck. Breathing all the way through the body. Inhale here, as you exhale, start to stack everything up. So keeping the knees bent, fingers, hands and arms are heavy. Really using the strength in the legs, those core abdominal muscles to keep you balanced and stable. Last thing to come up will be your neck and your head. And we're able to straighten through the legs, straighten through the knees. Come to face me on your mat. Finding your way into a good Tadasana mountain pose. So feet directly underneath the hips. And really moving around with the toes of four corners of the feet to establish that connection into the earth. Really good foundation. As you do that, you push down through the roots and draw that Pada Bandha energy all the way up through the legs. So we start to activate the legs, kneecaps are lifted, thighs are firm, pelvis neutral. Bring integrity to the spine as it starts to lengthen up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. Soften and release the shoulders down the back, chest is nice and open, collarbones floating up towards the sky. Observing the whereabouts of your breath as you stand in your Tadasana. Checking the fact that you are breathing, that you're not holding your breath in anticipation of what's to come. Almost a hypnotic quality as you stand here in Tadasana. Just check in with the breath. So we're going to come into a small flow, a flow that involves just your balance today. So start to bring your point of focus onto a drishti point, something on the floor in front of you or something on the wall in front of you. Something that you can concentrate on that's going to help you maintain your balance and your breathing. Once you've found something, on your next inhale, let's come onto tiptoes and take the arms all the way out in front. So stretch through the arms out through the hands and the fingers. Exhale, releasing the arms, coming back down onto your flat feet. So repeat this. Don't worry if you wobble. Keep the spine nice and long. Imagine that you're being pulled up through your head as you come all the way onto your tiptoes. Next time we exhale, we're going to do something a little bit different. So inhale here, go onto tiptoes. As you exhale, start to take a bend in the knees, but remain on your tiptoes. So it may be that we get to about here today. Keep breathing, draw the navel in towards the spine. That's going to help you as we start to squat down to where feels comfortable for you today. Keep focusing on your drishti point, maybe squatting down a little bit further. Maybe this is enough, that's fine, keep breathing. If you need to come out of this, please come all the way up, back onto flat feet. Or maybe squatting a little bit further down. Release those shoulders. Nice length through the spine. Nice width through the collarbones. Inhale here, come up all the way up onto your tiptoes. Exhale onto flat feet, release arms and hands. Super job. So our next flow involves a couple of variations of Warrior One. We need to come to the top of our mat, so the very front of our mats with plenty of mat behind us. Find a good Tadasana, just as we were, feet directly underneath the hips. That connection with all the toes and four corners of the feet into the earth. Legs haven't gone to sleep, nice active legs. Feeling comfortable and grounded here as you start to extend out through the crown of the head. Take a moment. On your next inhale, let's take the arms all the way up to the sides, fingertips up towards the sky. As you exhale, we're going to step back with the left leg, take a bend in the right knee, take the arms and hands either side into a variation of Virabhadrasana 1. So that left foot is out to 45 degrees. We've got a nice bend through that right knee. Tip forward, arms and hands are nice and strong. Inhale, bring the torso all the way up. Extend the arms and hands up towards the sky. As you exhale, cactus arms, a small back bend. Inhale, strength through that right leg. Extend the arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, you're going to take a bend in the right knee. You're going to clasp the hands behind you. And you're going to tip forward where you catch your breath here. So a few breaths. Stretching, reaching into our humble warrior. Inhale here, bring the torso all the way up. Release the hands. As you exhale, step back to the top of your mat. Let's try that on the other side. So take a moment, come back into your Tadasana. Nice active legs. Lengthening out through the crown of the head. Inhale, take the arms all the way up to the sides, fingertips up towards the sky. As you exhale, step back with the right leg into Virabhadrasana 1. So we're taking a bend through the left knee, arms and hands nice and active alongside us. That right foot is out to 45 degrees, tipping forward. Inhale, bring the torso, bring the arms and hands all the way up. As we exhale, cactus arms back bend. Inhale, straighten through that left leg, extend the arms all the way up. As you exhale, take a bend in the left knee, take the arms and hands behind us. Let's tip forward, catch our breath in our humble warrior. So a couple of nice deep breaths here. Inhale here, come all the way up. As you exhale, release hands, step back to the top of your mat. So let's do that one more time either side. So we find your Tadasana again. Lengthen through the spine, release the shoulders. Inhale, take the arms all the way up. As you exhale, step back with the left leg, take a bend in the right knee, arms and hands nice and active alongside the body. Inhale, keep a bend in the right knee, come all the way up. As you exhale, cactus arms, back bend. Inhale, straighten through the right leg, take the arms all the way up. As you exhale, take the arms and hands behind you. Tip forward into your humble warrior, catch your breath. Inhale here, push firmly into the feet, come all the way up. As you exhale, release the hands and fingers, step back to the top of your mat. Come back into your Tadasana. Release through the shoulders, the arms and the hands. Our final side. Inhale, take the arms, fingers, hands up towards the sky. As you exhale, step back with the right leg, take a bend through the left knee. Tip forward, arms and hands nice and active. Inhale, bring the arms all the way up. As you exhale, cactus arms, small back bend. Inhale, straighten through the left leg, take the arms all the way up. As you exhale, clasp the hands behind you, take a bend in the left knee, tip forward into your humble warrior. Catch your breath. Inhale here, push into the feet. Come all the way up. As you exhale, release fingers and hands, step back to the front of your mat. One final pose before we come into our final Shavasana. So wide-legged forward fold with a rotation. So for this, we're going to need our yoga block. If you haven't got that, use a small hardback book. That just gives you a little bit of height. That brings the floor to you if you can't quite reach the floor. We're going to come into the middle of the mat facing me. You're going to find your block or your book in front of you, and you're going to come into your Tadasana. So nice active feet, legs have been really super stretched, hips have been stretched, you're stretched out through the tummy, the lower back, side of the body up into the shoulders, the chest. Come into a comfortable wide stance, and you're going to bring the toes towards one another, so the heels are out to the top two corners of your mat, or the back corners of your mat. And we come into this stance because it just widens the lower back and really looks after our SI joints, which is just super important if you've got any issues with your lower back. Take the hands onto the hips, push down into the feet, inhale here, lengthen. As you exhale, start to tip forward from your hips. You've got an option here to bend the knees if you need to. Just coming in to a half forward fold at the moment. So check here how it feels. If it's too much, then come all the way up. If you want to take it one stage further and the back feels okay, release the hands from the hips. Take your hands onto the edge of your brick, block, book, or maybe the hands reach the earth. Either way, release totally through the neck, the crown of the head towards the floor. Check how the back feels, check what's going on with the legs, bend the knees. So we're going to come into a twist here. So you're going to bring your right hand into the middle of your book, into the middle of your block or your brick. The right hand's in the middle of the brick, the block, the book. Inhale, lengthen, push into the feet. As you exhale, start to rotate all the way around towards your left. Take your left hand up, gaze up to your left hand if possible. Keep breathing. Inhale here, as you exhale, release that left hand all the way back down. And then we're going to swap hands around. So this time, find your left hand into the middle of your brick, your block, your book. Push into the feet. Make sure you're steady through that left hand. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, take your right hand all the way up to the side. Rotating round towards your right, take your gaze up to your right hand. Breathe. Inhale here, as you exhale, bring that right hand back down onto the block, the brick, the book. Release totally through the neck and the head again. Check how the back's feeling. Get the hands onto the hips. And bend the knees that start to stack each vertebra on top of one another. So take time here. Watch blood pressure. Really push down into the feet. The knees are there to bend, to ease how this feels on the back, the spine. Slowly, carefully coming all the way up. Once you're up, heel toe back to centre. Put the hands on the hips. Feet directly below the hips. Bend your knees. Let's draw a lovely hip circles. Change direction when you're ready. Come back to centre, push down into the feet, straighten the legs, release arms and hands. Let's get ready to come into our final Shavasana, our final relaxation. So finding an extra jumper, socks, anything you need to make you feel comfortable and warm. Coming all the way down to lying down. Allowing yourself this moment to surrender the whole back body to the earth. Arranging through your feet, ankles and legs. To release through the legs, you allow the lower back to feel a little bit more comfortable. Middle, the upper spine, relax and release. And you can soften the shoulder blades into the earth. Maybe arranging the arms and hands alongside the body. Maybe you'd like to cradle the abdomen with the hands. Allowing the back of the head to sink down into the mat. Allowing the neck to release. Starting to release and relax the various features of your face. Allow the forehead to relax. The eyebrows. The eyes. Space in between the eyes, your nose. Release the cheekbones and your jaw. Allow the tongue to soften into the base of the mouth. Integration of our practice here today, mind, body, and spirit. This becoming will ask for your breath, patience, and for your fight, perseverance. Transformation is made of both surrender and strength.